All right, welcome back. In our last module, we explored the spender personality, and now we're going to dive into what might seem like the complete opposite, the saver. If you're a saver, you've probably watched that last video thinking, I wish I had some of those spender problems. Because while spenders struggle with saving money, you might struggle with actually enjoying the money you've worked so hard to accumulate. Let me start by saying this. If you're a saver, you have a superpower that many people desperately wish they had. In a world where the average American has less than $1,000, your natural ability to save and plan ahead is genuinely remarkable. Your motto is probably something like, a penny saved is a penny earned, or better safe than sorry. And in so many ways, you're absolutely right. Let's talk about what makes savers incredible, because there's so much to admire here. First, you're naturally excellent at building emergency funds. While other people are stressed about unexpected car repairs or medical bills, you sleep well at night knowing you're prepared. The peace of mind is priceless, and it's something you've earned through discipline and smart planning. Savers are also natural budgeters and planners. You probably know exactly how much you spent last month, and you likely have a pretty good idea of where every dollar is going. This level of awareness and control is a huge advantage in building long-term wealth. You also tend to have much lower financial stress than other personality types. Because you live below your means and plan ahead, you're not constantly worried about money running out. You've created a buffer that protects you from life's financial surprises. And let's talk about your deal-finding superpowers. Savers are amazing at research, comparison shopping, and finding the best value for the money. You probably know which grocery store has the best prices, when to buy seasonal items, and how to make purchases that will last for years rather than months. But here's where things get interesting and where we need to talk about some potential blind spots. The biggest challenge for many savers is what I call underinvesting in life. Sometimes the focus on saving money can become so strong that you miss out on experiences, relationships, or opportunities for personal growth that actually have tremendous long-term value. Maybe you skipped vacations that would have created lasting memories with family, or maybe you've avoided conferences or courses that could have advanced your career. Maybe you've been so focused on saving money that you've forgotten to invest in the relationships and experiences that make life meaningful. Another common challenge is being overly restrictive with spending. Even when you can easily afford something, you might have tens of thousands of dollars in the bank, but still feel guilty about buying a nice dinner or replacing worn-out clothes. That's not really financial wisdom, that's financial fear disguised as prudence. Many savers also struggle with what's called analysis paralysis around investing. You're so afraid of losing money that you keep everything in low-interest savings accounts, which means inflation is actually making you poorer over time. Your caution, which serves you well in many areas, can sometimes prevent you from taking calculated risks that build real wealth. And here's something that might surprise you. Some savers struggle with lifestyle inflation as their income grows. You might go from saving every penny when you're making $30,000 a year to still living like you make $30,000 when you make $60,000. While this builds wealth quickly, it can also mean you're not enjoying the fruits of your success. All right, let's do our personality check. I want you to answer these 5 questions honestly. 1. Do you check your bank balance multiple times per week? 2. Do you research purchases extensively before buying, even for small items? 3. Are you uncomfortable spending money on experiences or things you can't physically hold? 4. Do friends or family sometimes call you cheap or overly frugal? And 5. Do you have trouble spending money on yourself even when you can easily afford it? If you answered yes to 3 or more of these questions, you likely have strong saver tendencies, and that's fantastic. Your natural discipline is going to serve you incredibly well. I just want to make sure that you're also living a rich, full life along the way. So let's talk about strategies that help savers optimize their natural strengths while addressing potential blind spots. First, I want you to try what I call spending goals. Just like you probably set savings goals, I want you to set specific targets for enjoyable expenses. Maybe it's, I will spend at least $200 per month on experiences with friends and family. Or, I will invest at least $100 per quarter in my personal development. The key is making spending a goal, not just something that happens accidentally. This forces you to be intentional about investing in your life and relationships. Next, and this is really important, allocate a percentage of your savings specifically to your personal growth and experiences. I recommend at least 10 to 15% of what you're currently saving. Think of it this way, you're already amazing at saving for financial emergencies. Now I want you to save for life emergencies too. What if an incredible opportunity came up? What if someone you loved needed help? What if you had a chance to take your dream vacation? Having money specifically earmarked for these possibilities means you can say yes without feeling guilty. And here's another strategy that works really well for savers. Create a regular splurge schedule. Maybe once a month or once a quarter, you intentionally spend money on something you normally wouldn't buy. It could be a massage, a nice dinner, a piece of clothing you love, or a small home improvement. The key is planning these splurges ahead of time. When it's scheduled and budgeted, it doesn't feel reckless, it feels intentional. I also want you to practice what I call value-based spending. Make a list of 3 to 5 things that matter most to you in life. Maybe it's family relationships, personal health, career growth, or travel experiences. Then give yourself full permission to spend freely in those areas. If family is your top value, don't hesitate to spend money on family gatherings or helping out family members. If health is a priority, invest in good food, gym memberships, or healthcare without guilt. This helps you align your spending with your values, which means the money you spend will feel meaningful rather than wasteful. And here's one more strategy that might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's really important. Start tracking the return on investment of your experiences. When you spend money on a course, a conference, a vacation, or time with friends, pay attention to how it impacts your life over the following months. You might discover that the $500 you spent on a weekend with friends generated months of happiness and strengthened relationships. Or that conference you attended led to career opportunities worth thousands of dollars. When you start measuring these returns, spending on experiences starts to feel less like waste and more like smart investing. Let me recommend some tools that work especially well for savers. First, if you're keeping too much money in regular savings accounts, look into investment apps like Acorn or Robinhood. They make it easy to start investing small amounts without feeling like you're taking huge risks. You can literally start with $5 and gradually increase as you get comfortable. For maximizing your natural deal-finding abilities, try cashback apps like Rakuten or credit cards that offer rewards for spending. This lets you save money while spending money, which feels great to a saver personality. And most banking apps now have goal-setting features where you can create specific savings targets. Use these to set goals not just for emergency funds and retirement, but also for experiences and personal growth. Having a vacation fund or learning fund makes it easier to spend money on these things when the time comes. Here's what I want you to remember. Your ability to save and plan ahead is a tremendous gift, but money is a tool, not a goal. The purpose of saving money is to create security and opportunities that make your life better. If you're saving money, but not living a life you love, you're missing half the equation. Your future self will thank you for saving, but your present self deserves to enjoy some of the fruits of your discipline too. Start small. Pick one area where you've been overly restrictive and give yourself permission to spend a little more. Maybe it's upgrading your morning coffee, or finally taking that weekend trip you've been thinking about, or investing in a course that could help your career. The goal isn't to become a spender overnight. The goal is to find the sweet spot where you're building wealth for the future while also building a life worth living today. You've already mastered the hard part, discipline and planning. Now let's make sure that that discipline is serving your overall happiness and life goals, not just your bank account balance. In our next module, we're going to explore the investor personality, people who are focused on making their money grow through strategic investments. Even if that's not your primary type, you'll learn some strategies that can help you put your excellent savings habits to even better use. I'll see you there.